The lecture hall was full of students. Most of them talked with their friends or looked at their phones. But in the back row near the window, one girl sat alone. Her name was 23 years old. She wore an old hoodie that was too big for her. Her glasses were simple and round. Her hair was long and black, tied in a loose ponytail. She looked like any other student. Quiet, boring, forgettable. That was exactly what she wanted. The professor talked about stars and black holes, wrote notes in her notebook. Her handwriting was small and neat. She never raised her hand. She never asked questions. She came to class, did her work, and left. Nobody really noticed her. Well, almost nobody. "Hey," a voice came from her left. A young man dropped into the seat next to her. He had a big smile and messy hair. His name was Park, and he was the only person in the whole university who tried to talk to her. "You're late," said quietly. She did not look up from her notebook. I know, my alarm didn't work," pulled out his laptop. It was covered in stickers. "Did I miss anything important?" The professor talked about gravity wells for 15 minutes. Made a face, "Sounds boring." Almost smiled, almost. She did not understand why kept sitting next to her. She was cold to him. She gave short answers. She never invited him anywhere. But every day he came back. He shared his snacks with her. He made jokes she did not laugh at. He treated her like a friend, even though she never acted like one. It was strange. It was also dangerous. Knew she should push him away. She knew she should not let anyone get close. But some small part of her, a part she tried to ignore, liked having him there. The lecture ended. Students packed their bags and left, stretched his arms and yawned. "Want to get lunch?" he asked. "The cafeteria has good noodles today." "I have to study," said. "You always have to study," stood up and put his bag over his shoulder. "One day I'll get you to say yes, just watch." He waved and walked away, watched him go. Then she put her notebook in her bag and left through the back door. The walk to her apartment took 20 minutes. Lived in a small building in a quiet part of the city. Her room was on the 3rd floor. It had one window, a small kitchen, a bed, and a desk. Nothing more. She locked the door behind her. She closed the blinds. Then she stood very still and listened. Silence. Relaxed, but only a little. She walked to the corner of her room and kneeled on the floor. She pressed her fingers against one of the wooden boards. It moved. Underneath was a hidden space. She pulled out a metal case. It was black and smooth. There were no markings on it. She placed it on the floor and opened it slowly. Inside were 3 things. The first was a rifle. It was not like any weapon made on Earth. It was long and thin, made of dark metal that seemed to drink the light. When she touched it, it hummed softly, like it was alive. The second was a piece of armor. It looked like a small square, no bigger than a wallet, but knew that if she pressed the right spot, it would unfold and cover her whole body. It had saved her life more times than she could count. The third was a communication device. It was round and flat like a coin. A small blue light blinked on its surface. She had turned it off 2 years ago. She had promised herself she would never turn it on again. Stared at these things, her old life, her real life. On Earth she was a quiet student, a nobody. But out there in the darkness between stars, she had another name. A name that made criminals run. A name that warlords feared. A name whispered in every black market and every hidden station across the galaxy. The Spectre. She had been a bounty hunter, the best one. She took jobs that nobody else would take. She walked into places where armies failed. She never lost a target. She never showed mercy. And then one day she stopped. She ran away. She came to Earth. She buried her weapons and her armor and her past. She became a student. She learned to walk slowly, to talk softly, to be invisible. For 2 years it worked. For 2 years she was safe. But as looked at the blinking light on the communication device, she felt something cold in her stomach. The light was not supposed to blink. She had turned it off. She was sure of it. Someone had found her frequency. Someone was looking for her. Closed the case. She put it back under the floor. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the city was normal. Cars drove on the streets. People walked on the sidewalks. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. It looked peaceful, it looked safe. But knew the truth. The galaxy was big. It was full of creatures who remembered what she had done. Creatures who wanted revenge. Creatures who wanted the money that came with killing the Spectre. She had thought she could hide forever. She had been wrong. Somewhere out there, across the cold emptiness of space, hunters were coming. And when they found her, there would be blood. Took off her glasses. She looked at her own reflection in the dark window. Not yet, she whispered to herself. Please, not yet. But the universe did not care about her wishes. It never had. 3 days passed, tried to live normally. She went to class, she ate in the cafeteria, she studied in the library, but now she watched everything. She watched the people who walked behind her. She watched the cars that drove too slowly. She watched the strangers who looked at her for too long. On the 3rd day, she saw him. He was standing across the quad, a tall man in a dark coat. He had pale skin and short black hair. He looked normal, but knew he was not. His eyes did not blink. Humans blink every few seconds. They cannot help it. But this man stood there for 5 full minutes and his eyes never closed. Not once. He was not human. Turned and walked away. She did not run. Running would show fear. Fear was weakness, and the Spectre was never weak. She went back to her apartment. She locked the door and pushed her desk against it. Then she pulled out the metal case and opened it. She put on the armor. The square unfolded in her hands, spreading across her body like liquid metal. It was light but strong. It could stop a plasma bolt. It could stop a knife. It could stop almost anything. She picked up the rifle. It felt good in her hands, familiar, like meeting an old friend. Then she waited. The sun went down. The city became dark. Sat in the corner of her room, away from the window with her rifle across her knees. She did not turn on the lights. She did not move. At midnight they came. The door exploded inward. The desk flew across the room and crashed against the wall. 2 figures rushed in. They were fast, faster than any human. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. Moved faster. She fired twice. 2 bright flashes of light. 2 bodies hit the floor. They did not get up. A 3rd figure came through the broken door. This one was bigger, much bigger. He had skin and black teeth and arms as thick as tree trunks. He roared and charged at her. Rolled to the side. She dropped her rifle and pulled a knife from her boot. The blade glowed with energy. The big alien grabbed for her. She ducked under his arm and cut his leg. He screamed and fell to one knee. She jumped onto his back and wrapped her arm around his neck. "Wait," he gasped. His voice was deep and rough. "Wait, I have information." Did not let go. Talk. "The Syndicate. They put a bounty on you, 40 million credits." Felt something cold in her chest. 40 million. That was more money than most planets had. That was enough to buy armies. That was enough to make every killer in the galaxy come running. "Why now?" she asked. "I have been gone for 2 years." The alien laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You killed Commander Borax. You killed his whole crew. Did you think his family would just forget?" Borax remembered him, a fat, cruel warlord who sold children as slaves. She had taken that contract for free. She had enjoyed finishing it. "His son is now the head of the Syndicate," the alien continued. "He wants revenge. He wants your head on his wall." Thought about this. Then she tightened her arm around the alien's neck. "Wait," he gasped. "I told you everything. Let me go." "You came to my home," said quietly. "You broke my door. You tried to kill me." "Please." The Spectre does not leave witnesses. There was a quick, sharp sound. The alien stopped moving. let him fall to the floor. She stood up and looked around her room. 3 bodies, broken furniture, scorch marks on the walls. Her quiet life was over. She walked to the window and looked out at the city. Somewhere out there, more hunters were coming. Maybe they were already here. Maybe they were watching her right now. 40 million credits. The whole galaxy would be looking for her. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. For a moment felt tired, so tired. She had fought for so long. She had killed so many. And for what? So she could sit in a classroom and pretend to be normal. So she could eat lunch alone and study books she did not care about. She had tried to be human. She had tried to be good. But the universe would not let her. Fine, she thought. If they want the Spectre, they can have her. She picked up her rifle and checked the power cell. It was almost full. She had enough shots for 100 enemies, maybe more. She looked at the bodies on her floor. These were just the first. More would come. They would come in waves, in dozens, in armies. They would not stop until she was dead. But had a different plan. She was not going to wait for them to find her. She was not going to hide in her little apartment and hope they went away. She was going to hunt them first. The Spectre was back, and this time she was angry. She walked over to her desk and picked up a small photo that had fallen on the floor. It showed her sitting in the cafeteria with. He had taken it one day when she was not looking. He had printed it out and given it to her as a gift. She looked at his smiling face. She thought about his jokes and his kindness and the way he never gave up on her. She could not let him get hurt. She could not let any of them get hurt. This was her fight, her problem, her blood. She put the photo in her pocket and walked out into the night. Had noticed that was not in class. That was strange. She never missed class, not once in 2 years. He tried to call her phone, no answer. He sent her messages, no reply. He started to worry. That evening, he decided to go to her apartment. He had never been there before. She had never invited him. But he remembered her address from a group project last semester. He still had it saved in his phone. He walked through the dark streets. He found her building. It was old and quiet. He climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. When he reached her door, he stopped. The door was broken. It hung from one hinge, the wood cracked and splintered. The lock was destroyed. He called, his voice shook a little. "Are you okay?" No answer. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was destroyed. The desk was smashed against the wall. The bed was overturned. There were holes in the walls like something had burned through them. And on the floor there were 3 bodies. They were not human, could see that right away. 2 of them had blue skin and yellow eyes. The 3rd was huge with skin and teeth like knives. They were all dead. Felt sick. His legs shook. He wanted to run away, to call the police, to pretend he had never seen any of this. Then he heard a sound behind him. He turned around, was standing in the doorway. She looked different. She was wearing some kind of armor, black and silver, that covered her whole body. In her hands was a rifle that glowed with strange blue light. Her eyes were cold and empty, like the eyes of a dead person. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Said, her voice was flat, "You should not be here." What happened? His voice was barely a whisper. "What are these things? Who are you?" Did not answer. She walked past him into the room. She looked at the bodies on the floor, then at the broken furniture, then at him. "You saw too much," she said quietly. Felt fear rise in his chest, the way she looked at him, the way she held that weapon. She was thinking about killing him. He could see it in her eyes. But he did not run. He did not beg. Instead, he said something that surprised both of them. "Are you okay?" Stopped, her hand tightened on the rifle. Her cold eyes flickered with something he could not understand. "What?" she said. "Are you okay?" he repeated. "You missed class, you didn't answer your phone, I was worried about you." Silence, stared at him like he had spoken a different language. "There are 3 dead aliens on my floor," she said slowly. And you are asking if I am okay. Yes. You should be running. Maybe took a deep breath, but I'm not going to. Lowered her rifle. She looked at him for a long time. Then she sat down on the floor, her back against the wall. She looked tired, so tired. My name is not really, she said quietly. Well, it is, but that is not all I am. She told him everything. She told him about the stars and the aliens and the ships that flew between worlds. She told him about the Syndicate, a criminal empire that spread across 100 planets. She told him about the bounty hunters who worked in the shadows, killing for money. She told him about the Spectre. Listened in silence. His mind could not believe what he was hearing, but he had seen the bodies. He had seen the armor. He knew it was true. I killed people, said. She did not look at him. So many people, bad people mostly, criminals, slavers, murderers, but I killed them. I took their lives and I did not feel anything. I was a monster. Why did you stop? Asked. Because I was tired. Because I looked in the mirror one day and I did not recognize myself. Because I wanted to be something else. Someone else. She finally looked at him. Her eyes were wet with tears she would not let fall. I came to Earth to hide, to be normal, to be human. But they found me, and now everyone I know is in danger. Thought about this, then he sat down next to her. What are you going to do? He asked. I have to fight them, kill them, all of them. It is the only way. Alone. Yes, alone, like always. Shook his head. That's stupid. Looked at him with surprise. What? You can't fight a whole galaxy by yourself. You need help. I cannot ask anyone to. You're not asking, I'm offering, smiled even though he was scared. I'm good with computers, really good. Maybe I can help. Stared at him. You would die. You are just a normal human. So are you. The words hung in the air. Opened her mouth, then closed it again. She did not know what to say. Whatever you were before, said quietly, you are still the girl who helped me pass my physics exam. That means something, at least to me. For a long moment was silent. Then slowly she nodded. Okay, she whispered, okay. She had no idea why she agreed. It was foolish. It was dangerous. He would only slow her down. But for the first time in years, she did not feel alone. And that was worth more than she could say. They set up their base in an old warehouse near the river, brought his computers and equipment, brought her weapons and armor. Together, they began to work. The hunters were still coming, could feel them. Every day more ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They hid in the clouds, waiting, watching, looking for the Spectre. But this time, the Spectre was looking for them too. Was better with technology than had expected. Much better. Within 3 days, he had built a device that could listen to alien communications. He called it the scanner. I don't understand half of what they're saying, he admitted, staring at his screen. But I can track their locations. Every time they send a message, I know where they are. Good, said she. Checked her rifle. Then we start tonight. The first target was a small group of mercenaries hiding in an abandoned factory. There were 4 of them, 3 soldiers and 1 captain. They were planning to attack's old apartment. They never got the chance. Moved through the darkness like smoke. She did not make a sound. She did not hesitate. The first soldier died before he could reach his weapon. The second fell with a knife in his throat. The third tried to run but was faster. The captain was the last one standing. He was tall and thin, with skin like white paper and 4 eyes that blinked in different directions. Please, he gasped, I'll leave. I'll tell the others you're too dangerous, just let me go. Looked at him. For a moment she remembered who she was trying to become, a student, a normal person, someone who did not kill. Then she remembered the 40 million credits. She remembered the army of hunters coming for her. She remembered what would happen to if she showed mercy. Go back to your masters, she said. Tell them what you saw here. The captain ran, Let him go. Was waiting for her outside. His face was pale, but his voice was steady. You let him live, he said. I needed someone to spread the message. What message? Looked at the factory. Fire was starting to spread from the broken equipment inside. Soon, the whole building would burn. That I am not hiding anymore. Over the next 2 weeks, hunted without rest. Every night she found another group of mercenaries. Every night she left another message. Some she killed quietly, others she killed loudly. She wanted the syndicate to know. She wanted them to be afraid. Helped from the warehouse. He tracked communications. He found locations. He warned her when traps were waiting. Without him, she would have died 3 times. He never complained. He never asked her to stop, but she could see the change in his eyes. He was watching her become something terrible. One night he finally spoke. How many have you killed, he asked, since this started? Was cleaning her rifle. She did not look up. 32, she said. Was silent for a moment. Does it bother you? No, she finished cleaning and put the rifle down. It used to, a long time ago, but not anymore. That scares me. Now looked at him. His face was tired and sad. You are right to be scared, she said. I am not a good person, I never was, I just pretended for a while. I don't believe that. Then you are a fool. Shook his head. A bad person would have killed me when I saw too much. A bad person would not care about protecting strangers. A bad person would not try so hard to change. Did not answer. She did not know what to say. The final fight came on a rainy night. The syndicate sent their best killer. His name was, he was famous across the galaxy. He had killed bounty hunters, soldiers, and politicians. He had never failed a mission. He brought 8 soldiers with him. They landed their ship in an old shipyard near the ocean. They thought they were hunting the Spectre. They were wrong. Was waiting for them. The battle was brutal. Plasma bolts lit up the rain like lightning. Soldiers screamed and fell, moved through them like death itself, her armor deflecting their shots, her rifle cutting them down one by one. In the end, only was left. He was wounded, his green blood mixing with the rain, but he was still smiling. You fight well, Spectre, he said, better than I expected. You killed children on Vega 4, replied. I saw the reports. Just business. So is this. She raised her rifle to his head, but before she fired, she heard a sound behind her. Was standing at the entrance of the shipyard. He had followed her. He was watching. Their eyes met, saw fear in his face, not fear of her enemies, fear of her. She pulled the trigger anyway. Fell, the rain washed his blood into the sea. Stood there for a long moment, then she walked toward. You should not have come, she said. I know, his voice was shaking, but I needed to see. Now you have, now you know what I really am. She walked past him into the night. Behind her the shipyard burned. And stood in the rain, wondering if the girl he cared about was already gone. The message went out across every criminal network in the galaxy. It reached every black market station. It reached every hidden base. It reached the leaders of the syndicate themselves. It was simple, just a video. The video showed his body lying in the rain. It showed his identification tag proving who he was. And then a voice spoke, a human voice, calm and cold. I am the Spectre. I know you have been looking for me. Now I am looking for you. The camera moved. It showed a pile of broken weapons, alien rifles, energy blades, all destroyed. 40 million credits. That is what you offered for my head. That is what brought your hunters to Earth. Let me tell you what happened to them. 39 dead. 1 sent back to spread the word, and that is just the beginning. The camera lifted to show the dark sky. Rain was still falling. Earth is my home now. I protect it. If you send more hunters, I will kill them. If you send armies, I will destroy them. If you send ships, I will burn them from the sky. A pause. Then the voice continued, softer now but somehow more frightening. I know where your masters live. I know the names of their children. I know the codes to their doors. If anyone from the syndicate comes to Earth again, I will not just kill them. I will go to your home worlds. I will find your leaders. And I will make them wish they had never heard my name. The video ended. Within 3 days, the bounty was gone. The syndicate removed it quietly, hoping no one would notice. But everyone noticed. Everyone talked about it. The whole galaxy was talking about the human who made the syndicate run away. The story spread fast. They said the Spectre was not one person but an army of human soldiers. They said humans were naturally resistant to plasma weapons. They said humans could see in the dark and run without getting tired. They said Earth was protected by ancient technology that no alien could defeat. None of it was true, but the fear was real. For the first time, aliens looked at Earth differently. This small, blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. This world full of soft, weak creatures. Maybe they were not so weak after all. Maybe they were dangerous. Maybe it was better to leave them alone. Back on Earth, returned to the warehouse. Her armor was damaged. Her rifle was almost empty. She had not slept in 4 days. Was waiting for her. They did not speak at first, sat down on an old box and stared at the floor, made tea on a small portable stove. He handed her a cup. She took it. It's over, she said finally. They canceled the bounty. I heard, sat down across from her. The whole internet is talking about strange lights in the sky and government cover-ups. Nobody knows what really happened. Good. Silence. The tea was warm in his hands. She realized she was shaking, not from cold, not from fear, just from exhaustion. I'm sorry, she said quietly. Looked surprised. For what? For making you see those things, for dragging you into my war, for being. She stopped. She did not know how to finish. For being what? A monster. Put down his tea. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head. You're not a monster. You saw what I did. You saw how many I killed. You saw my face when I pulled the trigger. There was nothing there, no guilt, no sadness, nothing. I saw someone protecting her home. I saw someone who could have run away but chose to fight. I saw someone who let me help even though it put her in danger. He paused. That's not a monster. That's just someone who has been through too much. Felt something in her chest, something she had not felt in years. Her eyes burned. She blinked and tears fell down her face. She did not try to stop them. Moved closer. He did not hug her. He did not touch her. He just sat beside her and waited. I don't know how to be normal, whispered. I don't know how to stop being the Spectre. Maybe you don't have to stop, said. Maybe you can be both. Both. And the Spectre, the student and the hunter, maybe they can exist together. Wiped her eyes. She thought about his words. She had spent 2 years trying to forget who she was, trying to bury the Spectre. But the Spectre was part of her. She could not cut it out. Maybe she did not have to. 1 month later, classes started again. Walked across the campus with her hoodie and her glasses and her notebook. She looked the same as before. Quiet, ordinary, forgettable. But something was different. Walked beside her. They talked about homework and professors and what to eat for lunch. They argued about movies and music and whether coffee was better than tea. They looked like 2 normal students, 2 friends. Still had her weapons hidden in a new apartment. She still trained every night. She still watched the sky for ships that might never come. The Spectre was still inside her, waiting. But now there was something else too, something softer, something human. One evening they sat on a bench near the library. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. Do you ever miss it? Asked. Out there, I mean the stars. Looked up at the sky. She thought about the ships and the planets and the endless darkness between them. She thought about the thrill of the hunt and the satisfaction of the kill. Sometimes, she admitted, but I think I like this better. Why? She looked at him, at his messy hair and his kind eyes and his silly smile. Because out there I was alone, here I have you. Smiled, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Don't get used to it. They laughed together. It was a small sound in the big world, but it meant everything. Was still the Spectre, she was still dangerous, she was still a killer. But she was also something else now, something she thought she had lost forever. She was human. And that, she decided, was worth fighting for.